An honest review about Kafe Rutiy'n.
Cafe Rutiyn'S, situated at the heart of Kanga Perlis, in the narrow alley near the bus station. They were known for its grunge, spunk, retro skater aesthetic, good food, and good vibes. I've heard all the vibes, so we're here to check it out. And while we're enjoying our food, let me explain about the cafe's routine business operation.
The food was so good and the drinks were amazing. It tastes similar to other international coffee brands.
The ambiance this owner created also captured many youngsters' attention and older generations alike. The ambiance this owner created also captured many youngsters' attention and older generations alike. This cafe used to be small, but they expanded the space with good cost management and carefully planned how they want this cafe's overall concept came true. We looked around and observed the cafe's overall aesthetic and the overall construction. Everything was in place, aesthetically pleasing, and their SOPs or standard operations procedures are fairly simple in terms of their service, in terms of the cleanliness, personal hygiene, how their staff's appearance makes them look very, very relaxed and professional at the same time. Oh, okay. So let's continue on Kafe Rutiyn'S planning in their business operation. So there, in terms of planning, there's a lot to the chipper, but let's talk a bit. One of the main ones that we see on Kafe Rutiyn. For recruitment of new staff, okay, the owner told me he uses the most straightforward approach. He asks his friends if they like to work with him, and they all agree. That's pretty much it. But if Cafe Ruti wants to hire operational staff such as waiter, cashier, cleaner, etc., they did a series of systematic recruitment process and such as advertising job vacancies on a social media, screening, selecting the best candidate for their company, and interviewing them. In terms of production, they put a baseline at how many units they can produce in a day, and they also predict every single day after the shift is over or during of their business operation. They will predict how many sales they can make in a day uh, while selling the pastries. Since the pastries are baked and in small batches and they bake daily, so they have their own goals in making sure all the baked goods has to be sold out. But if that day the sale was not as expected and there's still a lot of baked goods left behind, they would either give their staff after the shift or give to their customers for free while they were taking the orders. Running a business means having a strategic and a precise planning for the efficiency results. So one of their strategy, they emphasize in providing the best customer service, staff's KPIs, or what you call as performance, and food presentation, as well as the ambience that they created for their cafe. They use organic ingredients and took from suppliers who supports the sustainability and ecosystem and human rights, fresh local produce, and more. Cafe Routine is also committed to supporting the local economy and sustainability whenever possible. This strategy ensures the product is fresh and of high quality to consumers while at the same time establishing a healthy business relation with the farmers and suppliers. Cafe Routine also relies on customers' feedback. They always listen to their customers. If there's any complaint, if there's any things that they can improve, they will take that note and put that as a data for them to understand and for make them for improvement. The establishment of cafe routine is not just because of they follow the people or following the trends. It's about their passion in business and making food for the community. That's their main passion. And they plan their operational business very thoroughly, but most of the time they're pretty straightforward and out of the box, meaning they don't really plan that much. They're more on follow the flow. If they think they need to make some improvement, they will do some improvement. If they need to add some um, bits here and there, they're also going to add that put too, without any thinking, without any strategic planning. Sometimes they do that out of their own thinking that some things that need to be put, some things need to be improved here. That's the unique about cafe routine. They did a series of planning strategies and marketing, but also they're more to open to any opportunities, or more to the very moment of idea came in, and they implement it right away. How they operate their business is actually pretty unique, because some F&B industries, food and beverages industries, they have series of SOPs, or standard operational procedures, a very standard one that we need to follow in government relations. They have all of that, but they don't have a complete file of SOPs that needed to be there for the company. They told me in the interview that they most likely just followed the basic SOPs and created their own version of it. But somehow, with that creativity, their business are thriving. And most of the problems that or challenges that happen in the cafe while they're running their business are manageable. That's what they say. The cost, oh, of course they will overlook the cost, as running a cafe or running a small establishment in a business is never easy, since there's a lot of competition, since there's a lot of um, things that you have to do. There's a lot of trends that you have to follow in order to appease the audience that's currently into. But they're very unique in terms of their own perception and their own concepts of how they view their business. So it's always go with the flow, follow the flow kind of vibe, which is for me is very interesting. And but one thing that is downside about their business is lacking of SOPs. Although their business are thriving, although their operations are running smoothly, it's very important if they have a file of documentation or SOPs that what they need to do. If let's say there's a health inspector coming in and they will ask if they could look on SOPs and whatnot, but they don't have that, or they told me it's incomplete, which is it's not, you're not supposed to be like that. The company is supposed to be very organize or understand that these regulations are important and implemented to avoid any suspension of business. Now we move to the last video, which is the recommendation that needed to be implemented for cafe routine. So our group has analyzed what's need to be improved in parts of their area, and one of them that we see the most is the importance of filing and publicizing their permits and license of their cafe. It's very important. All the cafes, including Cafe Routine, they need to publicize their license and permit in order to any misinformation and misunderstanding between the health inspector or any other bodies of government. They also have to provide a complete file of documentation of SOPs, so that when there's a health inspector or anybody of organization came in to check if they did a legit business, they are now ready to give out the files and letting them know that they're doing a legitimate business. This part is very important to avoid any misunderstanding or worse, business suspension. And this can take months or years to settle it down. Second of all that we see is the consideration of financial management. That from the case that we see, it's evident that Cafe Routine should analyze its financial statements periodically to strike out any expenses that are not vital for the organization. That's why the artwork or as well other aesthetic features are deemed as valuable, yet it is equally significant to not succumb to an assumption that one needs to overspend for it. Applying cost containment measurements and correctly prioritizing costs will help sustain fiscal integrity without having to lower the service quality. Lastly, it's important to know that to reduce the risk and boosting the speed of operation is achievable when all significant poses are described with standard operation procedures. This can mean like every single day they should make announcement or any changes in the SOPs to the operational staff, so that can reduce the staff turnover or there's any errors that's happening while operating a business. By that, they have to be very precise, they have to be very honest what's going on in the company, what are the changes that happen, and what is going on outside, external and internal to the staff. If the owner's being very honest and very open what's going on, this can create not just the relationship with the staff and the owner themselves, but this can create an productive in terms of psychology. This can alter them to become more productive and become more sufficient, and this will reduce the employment's turnover.